Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I know most of you guys have been waiting for me to talk about the event of today, Nane Nane. Unfortunately, I am late because earlier today, my son who was playing football fell down and broke his hand. And I spent most of the day in hospital, but I'm now back. But I'll do a proper analysis about the events of today, tomorrow, because I missed most of it. But I want to talk about something which I'd actually planned to be part of our content for today. Why personally, I strongly believe that William Ruto's government has lost the propaganda war against the Gen Zs. Before we get into that, let me ask you this question. What's your honest opinion about today's Nane Nane? Was it successful or was it a failure? I'm asking you that because I've seen online most people castigating the Luo nation because they did not turn up for the protest. Maybe because they believe that the Luos now believe that they are a part of government. And I was asking myself, is there any other community in the Republic of Kenya who has really suffered in the hands of the police in the name of protest? I'm just asking that question because those are the questions. People like the Luos did not turn up. Some like the Luos were just okay. What is your honest opinion about the fact that most of Raila Odinga support base, especially the Luo nation, did not turn up? Because Kenyans are used to seeing Kondele. Kenyans are used to seeing Migori turning up. Maybe tomorrow we'll also do an analysis about why probably Raila Odinga support base did not turn up. But for now, I want us to talk about the propaganda war. If you are to talk to anybody, they will agree that the Gen Zs have been able to achieve what the older generation could not achieve. On the 25th day of June 2024, it is on record that the Gen Zs staged a protest that culminated into them storming or occupying parliament. That protest forced William Ruto to withdraw finance bill. William Ruto is not a pushover. It forced him to withdraw finance bill. And it also forced William Ruto to dissolve his cabinet, because that was the demand of the Gen Zs. And I remember at some point during that time, I advised the Gen Zs to change tact, because in the art of war, you must always plan from the beginning to the end. But it was clear on 25th of June that the Gen Zs had planned from the beginning, but they didn't have a clear end game, because by that time, the protest was about finance bill and dissolve the cabinet. The two were achieved. Then they changed now to Ruto must go. Of course, in Bangladesh, which is something I'm going to explain in my next video, I'm actually going to give the lessons which Kenyans can actually learn from Bangladesh. The student leaders successfully forced their prime minister out of office, because from the onset, that was their demand. Remember, the prime minister had stayed in power for 15 good years. William Ruto has only stayed in power for 2 years. Yeah? But the question is, why is the government losing propaganda war to the Gen Zs? In this video, I want to explain those. But before we do that, for those who are watching the channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, allow me to dive in. But again, before I dive in, allow me to also take this opportunity again to introduce you guys to Lemfi. Lemfi is a mobile money app for users in the UK, Canada, and the United States of America to send money back into Kenya. They offer the best exchange rates, and the money will be delivered instantly into M-Pesa accounts, Airtel Money accounts, and if you want, directly into your bank account. You can use the link in the pinned comment to download the app. Ladies and gentlemen, why is the government, despite having the resources, still losing the propaganda war to the agencies. Of course, in my own opinion, today was not a very good day for the agencies, but the government still lost the propaganda war. I want you guys to watch this short clip. Just pay very close attention and tell me if something is not right there.
To inform the public that today we intercepted a personal motor vehicle, Brado model KDC 883R in Mudaika, at the residence of Jimmi Wanjigi. In the vehicle, we have recovered 4 tear gas canister, 2 Motorola gadgets, 7 assorted chargers for the pocket phones, and 1 mobile phone. Investigators are on the ground and to ascertain more details.
Now, something is very wrong in that particular press statement. Clearly, the government is actually losing the propaganda because of the following reasons. Number one is the failure to address the real issues. You know, when the agencies began their protest, they had clear issues. And most of these issues were real issues. And these real issues were affecting each and every Kenyan, including even the police. So they had legitimate concerns. So the expectation was that William Ruto was going to address some of these concerns. It is not happening. After that, we witnessed the Adani scandal. We've also seen William Ruto still spending most of his time wasting taxpayers' money. For example, William Ruto was in Embu, where he went to launch something. And the thing had actually been launched earlier by a cabinet secretary during Uhuru Kenyatta's rule. So you spend a lot of money, while in the real sense, Kenyans need to save. Today alone, cabinet was sworn in. Members of the new cabinet secretaries were actually sworn in. And according to the information available, each one of them has been allocated Toyota Prados, the new model, each costing 20 million Kenya shillings. But Kenyans are talking of reducing expenses, reducing wastage. So William Ruto has failed to address the concerns. For example, I'm yet to understand why William Ruto is unable to sit down with the agencies, because the agencies are saying that they're leaderless. But if you look at it critically, there's a group which is emerging as the face of the agencies. Why can't the government negotiate with them? Why? Why? Because they're not understanding. Number two, the government is also losing the propaganda war because of the brute force they are applying on the agencies. You know, we are talking of young people, 23, 24, 25, 26, 20, 19. Very young people going to the streets. And you know what they are carrying while on the streets? They carry a phone, they carry a bottle of water, and these guys also carry flag. They reach the ground. Who do they meet? They meet those water bowsers, I don't know what they are called. They meet police. Some of them are killed. Some of them are maimed, like that. They win the sympathy of Kenyans. If you follow the Bangladesh protest, the main reason why the government there failed or was forced out was because they failed to show empathy. I think were they around 60-something people were killed, students. And they believed, just like William Ruto initially believed, that the protest was just for a section of the country. Then it spread because of lack of empathy by the government. By the time they realized, it was late. And the army said, okay, we are now not going to continue with the killing because you guys have failed. They notified the president. That's when the prime minister realized that she has actually lost the support of the army. She took the next available chopper. So the use of the brute force is what is making this government lose support. They don't know, but they're losing support because of that brute force. You go to the streets, then you pick innocent Kenyans You abduct them. You go with them. You are recorded. And then you think, wherever you are, that you are in power, that people will be clapping for you. They are not. They are not. You are losing. If I were Ruto today, the first thing I'd stop is the abduction. If I want to arrest, I'll just come with the media. We want to arrest you, give you notice, either you come to the police station or we come for you. But not doing what they are doing. Today I saw how they were dealing ruthlessly with the media. There is something which is wrong. So they believe they're exercising power. But you can't exercise power against the people. You can only exercise power on behalf of the people. Number 3, the government has also failed on their propaganda. You know, when the agencies stormed parliament and entered there, William Ruto came out and addressed the country. In his address to the country, William Ruto accused external forces of hijacking the process of the demos. At that time, the people who were being blamed were 2, Uhuru Kenyatta and Rigathi Gachagua. It went on, it went on. Of course, it was justified to blame either Uhuru or Rigathi because for the first time we witnessed demonstrations in Karatina. Karatina was burning, Nyeri was burning, Mount Kenya was burning. So someone had to be blamed. After that, there was the story of Russia, or America. It went on like that. Oh, Ford Foundation. Today, the story has now changed. That it is Jimmi, Wanjigi. That simply tells you that the government has failed in their propaganda to link the protest to external forces. Because, you know, in a working government, right now, the government would have been able to draw links that if Lee is receiving money from, let's say, Joroge, and Joroge is getting this funding from Keino, and Keino is a leader or is an official of organization ingine in the US, they will be easily able to link it up. But right now, and number 4, the government is also losing this propaganda war because these agencies enjoy the support of the rest of the country. If you go to church today, they are in agreement that these agencies are saying things which someone needs to listen to. The parents are the ones facilitating the agencies. So you have a kid, 3 of them, all graduates, have never worked, they just seated there. And then they're giving you hope that if you go to the street, the government might act and you might get opportunity. What do? You allow them. You spare a bit of the money which you got from your pension, you give them to go to the street. And that is what has been happening. The government of William Ruto has failed to understand that these agencies are even getting the support from their parents. And because they get the support of their parents know that these are my guys, these are my girl, these are my boy. They're just in the street demonstrating. Then some of them are hurt. You lose the propaganda. And lastly, I think William Ruto has acknowledged on many occasions that his communication team has failed him. In fact, if William Ruto were to wake up today, if I were him, the first people I'd fire is the communication team. A proper communication team would have actually even engaged the other side. But you see, for them, they're defensive. I was asking myself the other day that if a lie had not stepped in to defend William Ruto, who would be doing it today? Who? Because the rest are just given a script, wanna share. I think they're in some WhatsApp group, then wanatumiwa, then they share. And they even share things which are harming the government more. Yeah, so for me, as far as I'm concerned, today's event was not successful. But the Gen Zs have actually proven now that they can even just say, someone can just say tisa tisa, and Nairobi would be in total lockdown. I don't know what you think, but that's my take for now. Tomorrow, after going through the events for today, I'll give you a proper analysis. This is Lee Makwiny. Bye-bye.